All right, welcome back to the Rice Report, everybody, the place where we talk about the things that you shouldn't in public, like money, politics, and religion. And today we're going to get into a whole different topic you should never talk about in public. You're not supposed to. Today is a very special episode. It's the first time in Rice Report history that there have been two Rices on camera at the same time. So please welcome to the show here today, AJ Rice. AJ, tell us a little bit about yourself before we hop into it all.
Brother, it's great to be here. It's about time. What have you been holding out on me? It is a pleasure to be interviewed by the second best looking Rice on the planet, I would say.
Totally.
Right? You know what I'm saying here? I'm keeping it real here. Beauty is pain, though. Beauty is pain. So it's like my Irish ancestors say, the liver never forgets. So that although I may look like Benjamin Button on the outside, I'm 145 in liver years on the inside. No, it's honestly great to be here. Got the double scoops of rice here at the Rice Report.
Two scoops of white rice.
That's right. Well, you're Italian, so it's not totally white rice. Okay,
I'm a mixed breed. Yeah,
I'm not sure you realize this, but the Italians were the last people to become white in the 20th century. Right? They were the last ones that were finally admitted, and now our Asian friends and our Latin friends are all slowly discovering, according to the New York Times, New York Magazine, which I cover in the book, that they're all either white adjacent. Because that's what the Italians were for a long time. They were white adjacent.
Yeah.
And now apparently the Italians are as white as any Scandinavian. But our Latin friends have been called all kinds of names. The rise of the white supremacist Latino. I've never heard of such a thing. And obviously Asian people, because they get good grades, they are white adjacent. And according to some analysts, and apparently Harvard University, who lost in the Supreme Court on this, they're not supposed to they're not the right type of minority. So they're using the system that was set up for affirmative action, and they're getting perfect scores, and they're not really people of color. They're white adjacent. So, I can't keep track of any of this, which is why I wrote these two books.
It's a whole new world. Nobody has any idea what the hell they are anymore. And it's great that you're outlining this in the White Privilege album. This is volume 2. I'm going to kick off this conversation because it's one that needs to be had. It's fun. We can have fun with it. Like, people are far too serious with everything. Oh, you're black, you're white, we're all people. We just happen to have a different outer shell. That's where we are. But so here's this book. You can see it behind him. He has many quotes on the back, many endorsements. And this is my favorite one. This is AJ Rice really gets it. Obviously, I'd send him to the gulag if I could, but he outlines my plan masterfully in his new book, a quote by Joseph Stalin. Uncle Joe. So let's hop into the white privilege and what drew you to write this book and why should people buy it and read it?
Well, look, it's funny, when you're getting blurbs for your book and you're getting Stalin and you're getting Abraham Lincoln and you're getting Santa Claus, right? And I was having a discussion with Pete Hegseth probably right around the time he was being confirmed, and he's a client of ours. And as the audience can see, volume 1 behind me here, The Woking Dead, I told him, and I told Ingram this too, I says, with my first book, I got Hegseth, I got Judge Jeanine, I got Monica Crowley, I got Chris Salcedo, I got Laura Ingram. I said, why do I need to go back to the well and ask them again when I can get, Christopher Columbus and Ben Franklin and all these characters? So I told Pete, I said, sorry, Pete, you're on your own, you're only getting the first book. You're not getting the rest of them. So no, it was my pleasure. And honestly, my favorite blurb is the one from the HR department here at Publius PR, where they're complaining about the book. It's triggering them. There's no safe space here. The book is making them, rethink what gender they are and many other things. They're one of the 73. I don't know which one, but they're one of them.
It's one of them.
But no, look, you got to have some fun with this. The White Privilege album with an apology to the Beatles, right? But for our music fans out here, there is another band that I sort of modeled the cover on, and that would be Pink Floyd's The Wall. If you ever seen The Wall.
Absolutely.
And of course, we've got our own parental advisory sticker there for the Woking Dead. Look, brother, here's the thing. I was mentored by Andrew Breitbart, by Laura Ingram, and others. And I was raised on Rush Limbaugh and Howard before he lost his mind. Howard Stern before he
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 totally
looked
lost his mind. Yeah.
before he went into the basement with Billy Joel, and they're down there on Long Island after the Diddy White parties. They're down there and they're sticking pins in there. You know, they look like Hellraiser because of the amount of jabs and boosters and everything else that Howard is injecting into himself. He lost his mind. But I was raised on Howard. I was raised on Rush. One of the things Rush used to say is that his job was to bring, use irreverent humor
Yes.
to illustrate truth.
And he was brilliant
And
at
it's
it.
something, it's something Breitbart lived by as well. And Ingram does. When I was producing Laura's show all those years, I mean, we were trying to have fun because, you can be brilliant, and there's plenty of people out there that, they're Aristotle's little brother and so on. When it comes to certain generations, and I'm a millennial, I'm a geriatric millennial, but I'm a millennial. Sometimes you can do more damage to the left by hanging a joke on them.
1000%.
You could do more damage to the left by using humor to illustrate truth, using absurdity to illustrate truth. And that's what most good comedy's supposed to be. Let your enemy speak, something Charlie Kirk was good at.
Yep.
A lot of times they will illustrate how stupid their ideas are by allowing them to speak, which is why, more speech is better speech. Jimmy Kimmel, for example, is an unfunny man, but he is the favorite unfunny man of a bunch of leftists in Hollywood. I don't think you need to fire him necessarily for poor jokes, poorly timed jokes, and ignorant speech, and so on. You could pretty much fire him for being unfunny.
Yeah.
You could fire him for being untalented. You certainly could fire him for the ratings. So you don't need moral, he's got terrible ratings. So you don't need, same thing with Colbert. I mean, you don't need a moral turpitude clause. And he could come out and he could cry and do all this, But look at late night comedy. It's like a monochromatic, these doughy white Gen X guys all telling the same jokes. The one guy that I would cut a little slack to is Fallon, because I don't think Fallon.
Just a little slack.
Who said this? Gutfeld said that. Gutfeld said that Fallon didn't sign up for the culture wars. He was drafted.
Yeah.
Because I don't think his gut is to go out and act like this. Is to go out and act like Colbert and Kimmel are the worst, and Seth Meyers. They're the worst, right?
Seth Meyers. Yeah,
I think there's a part of Fallon. There's a part of Fallon that knows if he's going to sit in that chair, Johnny's chair, right? Dick Allen's chair, Leno's chair, then you have a responsibility if you're going to be in that chair. Like athletes do. And your responsibility is to be funny for everyone.
Yes.
Not for the ladies on The View, not for the New York Times editorial page. Everyone. And that's, in sports, and I talk about this in the book, captain of the New York Yankees, Aaron Judge. He is a man of mixed race descent. He was adopted by scary white people, apparently.
Totally scary.
Public school teachers in Colorado. Got a similar background to Colin Kaepernick. Mixed race, natural athletic gifts, adopted by white people. Where on one hand, with Kaepernick, he backed an 18-wheeler over his parents. Threw him under the bus. And he got a little social justice warrior money from Nike out of it. But he hasn't played since. Whereas with Aaron Judge, it's a different story. He's the captain of the most important franchise in baseball. Look, I'm from Philly, as the audience can hear, so I'm no fan of the Yankees. They've beaten us twice in 2 World Series, separated by almost 50 years.
Yep.
And
former baseball player here, man. We can talk baseball too.
But well, then you'll appreciate this. The sports media is as liberal in most cases as the political media.
100%.
So they're constantly trying. They're constantly trying to drag Judge into putting his black fist in the air. But the one thing he knows, and it's something his predecessor, who was captain, who was also of mixed race.
Yep. The captain, El Capitan from Kalamazoo, Michigan, right?
Yes, sir.
Derek
Jeter knew this too. And ESPN and the Atlantic and the rest of them, they try to drag these guys in this. If you're going to put on those pinstripes and you're going to go into the cathedral of baseball, you're there to be an entertainer for everyone. Mm-hmm. You're the captain of everyone. The handicapped people, the non-handicapped people, the disgruntled Mets fans, the black, the white, the yellow, the Latin, whatever the hell it is.
Everyone.
And Judge knows that. Judge knows that. And guys like Brady know it. Guys like Jordan know it. Kobe knew it. Tiger Woods knows it. That if you're going to be the GOAT or the captain, you need to be the GOAT for everyone. You don't get to just be the GOAT for MSNBC, LeBron. Okay? So That's the thing. So if you're going to do it and you think you're going to end up on the right side of history, I mean, look, I think history, and if you're a sports guy, you'll follow this. History, I think, the assessment of Jim Brown and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Muhammad Ali and Jackie and many others.
Yep.
I think history will remember their struggles as noble. But if you're D. Wade and you're out there defending the trans mafia because your son wears a dress, and if you're LeBron,
Magic now too. His son wears a dress.
Imagine that. Magic's in a dress.
6'9" woman.
That's right. Well, maybe he can run for Congress in LA. So here's the thing. LeBron's out there promoting Space Jam 2, which no one saw. And you have these protests that were happening in Hong Kong. And you have the freedom fighters in the streets. And then you have the regime that are pro-CCP. LeBron is siding with the regime. LeBron sides with the CCP because LeBron wants distribution for his stupid movie that no one saw. He wants sneakers. He wants the NBA to go to China. He wants all of this. Meanwhile, Daryl Morey, who at the time was the Rockets general manager, LeBron's ripping him.
Yeah, he's getting lit up.
For siding with the freedom fighters. So LeBron sides with the concentration camp people. They've got the Uyghur Muslims in the camps. They got the Fallon Gong. They're doing organ harvesting. LeBron and Bugs Bunny, apparently, they're getting down with the organ harvesting. So
you didn't see that episode of Looney Tunes?
Yeah, right. I mean, so
we grabbed a liver. What's up, Doc?
Yeah, exactly. You have with sports people, with entertainment people, and with late night people, they in some instances are not even trying to entertain an American audience anymore. Right? They're looking for a global audience.
That's right.
So they think they can dump all over the American people or half the population. I mean, look, Kimmel's been even more egregious. He basically said, I don't care. I don't care if they don't watch. 78 million people vote for Trump 3 times. I don't care. So Disney's going to have a tough call here because, the American people are learning about the fact that Disney doesn't necessarily own the stations. In a syndication situation, Nexstar owns the stations, Sinclair owns the stations, and they merely choose to carry the content that ABC, American Broadcasting Channel, owned by Disney, is running. And they don't necessarily need to carry it. They don't need to carry Whoopi Goldberg. They don't need to carry any of it. So, and I think that's a market decision. So, yeah, I understand. I saw Rogan, and I've seen some people out there talk about the chilling effect, free speech. And I've seen some other people like, what's his name? Gavin, forget the guy's name. Guy used to be on with Red Eye a lot with Gutfeld. I mean, Gavin McGinnis. I've seen other people say, that Jimmy Kimmel and Howard Stern, this is an interesting, just to bring it full circle, that they're actually being controlled by their left-wing Karen wives, that the wives are controlling them, that the wives have got the meat puppet, Jim Henson hands up there and is making Howard and Jimmy, into, less of the man show and more of some kind of,
more of the trans show.
Feminist studies 101, right? So, but look, the American people can vote with their wallet, and certainly Nexstar and Sinclair are making business decisions too. And look, they're Sinclair in particular, I don't know much about Nexstar, but Sinclair's a fairly, they lean right. They lean to the right. And I'm shocked that it took this long, quite frankly.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it would take this long?
The
And first of all, let me get your...
The young man had his head blown off on TV, on the internet, with his children in front of him and his wife in front of him. Someone who, compared to some of us, including me, was the nice one, the nice guy. I'm not the nice guy. I'm not the nice guy. I put these people in a wood chipper. I'm not the nice guy. I mean, I'll give you the Steve Buscemi Fargo treatment. But he was, in a lot of ways, like Billy Graham to some of these people. In a lot of ways, he was Kennedy-esque, but he certainly was the most important voice on the right with Gen Z. And you see, Gen Z is moving. For all the talk about the 400-pound blue hairs that are out there, they're a little minority. Obviously, we love them to be there because I have a lot of fun making fun of them. But, Charlie Kirk is responsible for moving a younger generation to the right. And look, I can tell you I've been in the media across 3 decades now, and there's only been 3 people that were not elected, 3 people that have been able to reset the conservative movement and change the culture. And those 3 people were Rush Limbaugh, Andrew Breitbart, and Charlie Kirk.
Agreed. Yeah.
And none of them are with us now, unfortunately. And, as somebody that's been in this, that knows these people, Breitbart was a mentor. Rush I met many times. He and I share the same birthday, born on the same day. And, Charlie Kirk, I was his publicist for his last book. And, they will leave an indelible mark. I think Bobby, RFK Jr., said it best, and he would know, considering his father and his uncle were killed. Once again, the most important voice of a generation, silenced by an assassin's bullet. And I think it will backfire. I can tell you.
Oh, it's already started. Yeah, that's already started.
Don't just look at the money that's been raised. Don't just look at the chapter requests that are coming in. You have to understand something. We've all seen the video of this. And there's different angles. And, the 2 Rices here, we do this for a living. We yap for a living and we bloviate for a living.
Oh, I do it for fun.
But there are people, okay, I do it for fun too. But there are people kids that were riding the bus that day.
Yeah.
They saw it on their phone. They were bussing tables that day. They were working on a term paper for their undergraduate degree that day. So you have unleashed something where I can guarantee that by killing him in front of all of us, you have unleashed the whirlwind in the sense that you're now going to get waves of Charlie Kirks.
Absolutely.
For decades. And you're going to get something else. You're going to get something else. Something that isn't Charlie Kirk. Something we haven't seen. Somebody that's 17 right now. You don't know their name yet. Okay? You were talking about singular figures like Reagan, like Trump, like Rush, like Andrew, like Charlie, like Billy Graham, where the unknown should scare you, liberals. It should scare you. Because although he's gone, boy, what you might have created by doing that. And I say they because it is them. It is
That's
them.
what they call themselves. So it makes perfect sense.
Well, they, them. But it was they, them that broke Rand Paul's ribs. It was they, them on the rooftop in Butler. It was they, them running around in Brett Kavanaugh's neighborhood. It was they, them that shot Steve Scalise. And I could go on and on.
Kids in Minnesota, kids in Tennessee, all they, them.
I can go on. I could go on forever. So just understand that I know you're worried about the very fine people on both sides. But really, It's you. It's you people doing this. And if you really want to take a long historical view, Rice, since the Civil War, Lincoln, Garfield, McKinley, Teddy Roosevelt, John F. Kennedy, Ford, Reagan, Trump. They were all either shot at or shot. Some of them died, some of them didn't, but only one of them, the Irish Catholic one, was a Democrat. Every other name since the Civil War that I just gave you was a Republican being shot or shot at. So, I know we want to be esoteric and, we extrapolate and we want to understand how can society create this and this and no, it's not. There is a pattern here. It's real. And it's you. You're the pattern. Not that many of you are watching this brilliant man here host a show, but I'm sure some of you will be. Yeah, you probably can't handle two Rices at the same time.
No, can't do it.
It's like Batman, Superman, Dawn of Justice taking place right now. Justice for Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, I hope we see it, because I'm not buying the story they're telling us. I'm just not buying it. It's too convenient. Every weapon, every bullet has something written on it. When did that begin? We're both very big into history. I don't remember a period of time where murderers were leaving evidence on the things they leave behind before, but maybe it's symbolic. It's occultic. That's for sure. It's definitely demonic. That's absolute. We're killing men of God.
Also, if you're looking for old-fashioned assassins that just, shoot the president and end up at Dr. Mudd's house in Maryland, yeah. Okay. That was an actor, by the way, that did that. But shot Lincoln. Here's the thing. We've become such a narcissistic culture that I think in the world of TikTok and live stream and FaceTime and self-masturbatory nonsense constantly, I think killers would start doing that because it's all a calling card. It's all, we got shooters that like that guy, that nut in New Zealand, he put on a GoPro camera and he live streamed himself. You got people raised on pure digital narcissism now.
Yeah.
In a way, when the Pony Express, when Garfield was shot and when McKinley was shot, it just didn't exist. So yeah, our assassins are going to become more narcissistic as we go. We have video games, we have social media. None of these kids actually leave the house. We've got incels. They don't listen to music. We've got an entire group of people that have mental disorders that we're allowing to think that they're born inside the wrong body.
Yeah.
And half of the political world thinks that these people should be allowed to just walk around and behave like every other.
Yeah, they're totally normal.
Schizophrenic person. So that, and the trans mafia is pumped full of hormones. They are enraged and they will try to whack people, and they are. And the list isn't just Covington Christian and the Catholic school in Minneapolis. I have been, for my next book, compiling the list. And I got to tell you, it is way longer than you think. We just found out last week that according to court records, the lunatic that was running around in Brett Kavanaugh's neighborhood now identifies as the other gender. According to court records.
When does it end?
So that's the thing, At some point, the regular gays started drinking too much almond milk, which is loaded with estrogen, and they turned into the. No, I'm joking. Almond milk didn't cause this, although I've heard compelling cases.
It's Alex Jones. The water's turning the frogs gay. They're drinking the wrong water. Now it's turning the gays trans. That's where the water's going.
Right.
It's a whole new.
Gays.
It's biological warfare against gays. Let's get into the white issue, because this is one that doesn't get talked about a lot. You're white. I'm white. I guess I'm partially white adjacent, as being part Italian, part Greek. So I have two part adjacent.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm not full. We've been demonized for 25 years, and we're not allowed to talk about this. This is something that's so rarely talked about. I can pull up a video right now with headline clips from Harvard University and all the schools saying that we need to eliminate white people. We need to kick them out of our country. I have seen Indian H-1B visas come out on the internet saying,
Right.
well, you need us in this country, but eventually we're going to put you through the same process to come back into it. What in the world is going on here, AJ? First of all, I thought we were supposed to be a colorblind society. Like that was our whole, or the melting pot where everyone's the same. How has the media gotten
Well,
away with so much white hate for 25 years? Because
well,
you got a quote from Stalin
yeah.
about destroying his plan. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, there is one group of white people we can do without, and that's white liberal women. So, if Tom Homan's watching, we should definitely deport them, put them on the jet to El Salvador as well.
That's all right. They're jabbed already, so they can't multiply. So it's going to be okay.
That's true. That is true. So the whole talking about white privilege and the patriarchy and toxic masculinity, all this stuff, this is all code because they've taken cultural Marxism and they put it through sort of an ethnocentric lens. And what comes out on the other side is some of the stuff you're talking about. But it's really code for, as I write about in the book, sort of three things that the left can try to say is white, but it's more about the success of these three things that they're most pissed off about, which is why they have to go. So at a macro level, it's Western civilization. So I'm talking Judeo-Christian, Greco-Roman civilization. Okay? So the four legs of the stool of the West. And, it's got to go. So they, and look, you got to remember, not all civilizations are created equal. I'm sorry. That's why some of them go away. Right? So, right. Exactly. And not all culture, to quote Pat Buchanan, not all cultures are created equal either, which is why some of them are bankrupt and vanish. Some of them eat their own and vanish. So when you're talking about the left and what they're after and when they're screaming about white privilege, it's really, they're mad at Archimedes. They're mad at Sigmund Freud. They're mad at Steven Spielberg. They're mad at, Michael Jordan, whatever the hell it is. They're mad about these things. The success of them, the wealth generation, the economic literacy. They're mad about it. Shakespeare's got to go. Mozart's got to go. They all got to go.
Baby, It's Cold Outside's got to go. That's a date rape song now. Remember that? Baby, It's Cold. Meanwhile, a song about WAP, which you can look up what WAP means. I won't say it on my show. That was the #1 song in the country. A black woman's rapping about prostitution, bragging about prostitution while they're trying to ban a song by a white guy about trying to sneak a kiss before he goes home. That's date rape. Prostitution good, date rape bad.
That's right. Well, that's a nice way to put what that song's about. I appreciate it.
I try to keep it clean here, AJ.
You go look up what that song's about. But so if you take a step down, and not with Cardi B and not with Megan Thee Stallion, take a step down, you're talking about the middle class. And the left has done everything to basically destroy the middle class.
Yep.
Black Lives Matter says the middle class is a form of white supremacy, white slavery.
Straight out of Marxism.
Right. So, but this is why their programs are designed not to help the middle class, but to crush them, to crush work. The Green New Deal, the whole point is to destroy the middle class.
Yeah, eviscerate
Redistributing the entire third world to inner city Chicago is about crushing not only the middle class, but urban blacks too. They're going to crush them too.
Yep.
Flooding the schools with this stuff. So, yes, Western civilization's got to go. The middle class has got to go. And finally, the nuclear family, which again, Black Lives Matter put on their website right next to their love letter to Hamas, that the middle class, the nuclear family again was some sort of construct of white supremacy and, everything's an esoteric construct of the Klan and Nazis and so on.
Everything. So even though the Klan was the Democrats, but we'll get
right.
And the Republicans set their slaves free. So these are historical facts.
Correct. And we got shot for it. So these three things, though, when you hear about white privilege, that's what they're after. Because it dawned on the Marxists a long time ago, right around World War I, that they weren't going to get your classical Marxist revolution here where you burn the White House down and you hang the capitalists with the rope they manufacture. You're not going to get that here. You're not going to get the Romanovs. Yeah. Well, not only that, but we have a healthy middle class. If you look at history, all the places where communism has thrived,
we had a healthy middle class. We had one.
well, it's still there.
We're
I have
very
to say
sick.
it's still there.
We're
They're
very
doing
sick.
they're doing okay right now. Well, no, I agree. You know, we might be on respirator, but it's there. But if you look at Cuba and North Korea, and Vietnam and China and the Soviet Union, the Russia before the Soviet Union, you know, these are places where you either had the leftover vestiges of colonialism or some corrupt autocrat like Batista in Cuba, or some sort of, you know, gangster family. You know, it never works where there is a middle class.
Right.
Which is why you would have to destroy the middle class if you want totalitarianism and all the flavors of Marxism, communism, Stalinism, and so forth. You've got to get rid of the middle class. You've got to get rid of the nuclear family. And you need to make sure that the Greeks, the Romans, the Jews, and the Christians are gone. Whether it's Moses or Plato, it doesn't matter. They have to go, because it's those thinkers, whether it's Jesus Christ or Abraham or, you know, Marcus Aurelius, whoever it is, these are the purveyors of what has made us a moral society.
Mm-hmm.
It's what keeps, you know, it's what keeps a lot of us, you know, the law of the jungle from taking over, right? Or Sharia law. Or go look around the world, sub-Saharan Africa, wherever you want to go.
It's brutal.
Right. So, you know, even the societies that were in the Americas before the evil Europeans showed up, I mean, they were all eating each other's entrails and sacrificing babies to the moon god. And so, I mean, you know, they weren't exactly building the 6 simple machines, right?
Right.
They weren't, right? Come on. So, I mean, that's where we're at here. And they know that. And as long as you can hold on to Columbus, and you can hold on to Abraham Lincoln, and you can hold on to Ben Franklin and many of the other people that endorsed my book, as long as you can hang on to them, you can hang on to the West.
It's culture.
So that's why the Woking Dead exist. That's why the Trans Mafia exists, and that's why, you know, the White Privilege album is a, you know, political humor book that pokes fun at them. And in the book, I go through 12 chapters.
Pretty brilliant, guys. By the way, you should
chapter is each chapter is a month of the year.
Yep.
And I go through an entire calendar year. Our holidays, our traditions, our nonsense, and I illustrate it and poke fun for all to see.
And that's what we've got to do. I mean, there's nothing more powerful than laughing at your enemy. Like, these people aren't scary; they're psychotic, and more importantly, they're sick. Like, there is literally something wrong inside of them. But you're exactly right. A Marxist takeover, a Marxist revolution begins by destroying the middle class, eliminating culture. And I don't think America realizes how close we are. We actually have a pillar of communism that's a part of our daily life called the Federal Reserve, central control over money printing, money supply, and credit creation. That is in the Marxist playbook. Now, these guys have been using another Marxist book and following the 12 rules of radicals. And so few people have I advise everyone in the world to read the Communist Manifesto and the rules for radicals. Right. Saul Alinsky dedicated that book, by the way. The last line of the book was, it was dedicated to the first true rebel of the world, Lucifer. That book is literally dedicated to Lucifer. So I just have I guess I'm a spiritual guy too much, but I don't believe in mental illness. I believe these people are possessed. Like, mental illness is like, you could treat
when you
that.
when you see one of these creatures in public, they do look like that.
They look demonic.
And, you know, we've become such a non-judgmental society that
we're domesticated.
Has removed shame from our vernacular. Not here, not with the 2 Rices. I mean, we're shaming everybody here.
Absolutely.
But because of that, the permissiveness of people that should be scared to death to go out in public like this. They're in Walmart with your kids. They're in Target with your kids. You know, they're in the wave pool at Great Adventure with your kids, you know, or Disney World or wherever. And they're wearing their tuck it. They're tucking it. They got their, their tuck it bathing suit. And,
they're all over Disney World, by the way. I had to go there a couple of years ago. They call it the happiest place on earth, and happy means gay, and like, it totally absolutely fills the bill. It is the creepiest place on earth. I've never seen so many grown adults. Like even my kids. Well, I think my son was like 11 years old when we were there, and he looked over at me and he goes, "Dad, why are there so many adults without kids here?" And I looked at him. I go, "Son, we're just kind of retarded as a society. Like I don't even know why grown adults go to that place without children." But an 11-year-old kid who was raised right could notice it. So if you want to find out where the leftists go, like just get rid of Disney World. Let's just get rid of Disney World.
I mean, some of them go where kids are for obvious, read between the lines reasons. I mean, so
very
but
bizarre reasons.
Is that we stopped. But here's what I think is going on, though. I think the last election was a woke Waterloo moment in the sense that it wasn't just Kid Rock shooting up the Bud Lights. It wasn't just Jaguar, having a car ad where they're having a drag brunch on the moon with no car in it. Car ad with no car, just a bunch of trannies on the moon. Neil Armstrong's tranny sisters on the moon. It's all of these things I think have broken the left. And some of them have learned from it. Some of them see it. I think Fetterman sees it. Maher sees it. Stephen A. Smith sees it. There are some people that see it. I think Rahm Emanuel can probably see it. Yeah. Smart dude. Oh, Raccoon Face. Raccoon Face is very smart.
His dad was my doctor growing up.
There you go.
Crazy story.
He comes from a smart family. So Raccoon Face knows. Carvel, sometimes he's with it. Sometimes he sounds like he's
never with it. Skeletor is never with it, man.
Some of the stuff he said about wokeism, though, I kind of agree with.
That was a salient moment.
Some of them realize who they are, and they're coming down out of the ivory tower, and they're meeting their base. And their base is Jasmine Crockett, my girlfriend. Their base is AOC, right? Their base is this creature that's trying to get into Nancy Mace's bathroom on Capitol Hill. That's their base. That's their base. And
creepy base.
They've been trying, ladies and gentlemen, they have been trying to hide their base, not only from you, but from their own voters. Definitely from the American people. Going all the way back, the last time they didn't hide was 2012 election cycle. Because in 16, in 20, and in 24, the Democrat Party rigged their own primary to make sure you didn't get to see their base. Because they used the superdelegates to get, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz was involved in this at the convention in 16. Donna Brazile wrote about it in her book, to keep Bernie Sanders' people away. 2020, after Mayor Pete and Bernie and others did well in Iowa and did well in New Hampshire, the call went out. Everyone get out of the race. So there goes Klobuchar, there goes Pocahontas, there goes Crazy Eyes Corey, there they all go. So that Biden could win in South Carolina. And Jim Clyburn got involved. They got everyone out of the race, and then they took Joey, the vegetable. They took the vegetable, they put him in the basement in Delaware, they plugged him into an extension cord, and somehow he got more votes than anyone in history.
It was a modern miracle.
That's right. The vegetable was walking on water. Fast forward to 2024, Joe goes out there, the vegetable. He gets his clock cleaned by Trump. And they give Kamala the nomination. She never won a thing in her life. And in 107 days, she spent $1 billion plus. So again, they don't want you to decide. And I think guys like Charlemagne the God and Stephen A. Smith, and quite frankly, Andrew Schultz recently on his podcast confronted Bernie Sanders about this. And Bernie basically said, no. So think about this, ladies and gentlemen. The Democrat Party, and that's not to say the Republicans didn't try some funny business with Trump, but the Democrat Party hasn't had a real primary since 2008, when Obama took out Clinton and John Edwards. 2008. So let's say, what are they going to do? What are they going to do it this time? They cannot allow Jasmine, my girlfriend, to an AOC and the rest of the squad, and America's favorite Somalian up there in Minnesota. They can't let them decide, but that's their base.
That's right.
That's their base. And look, everybody's like, whoa, the first 9 months of Trump 2.0. Well, let's look at the first 9 months of what have the Democrats shown us here in the last 9 months? Who are they? Well, they're pro Hamas and they're hunting Jewish students down on Columbia's campus. They applaud the assassination of healthcare executives in the streets.
I'm going
They
to
are
disagree
turning
with you on this,
planes.
here, AJ. This is a topic that
They're turning planes around filled with
Yeah.
Tren de Aragua, coming to a cul-de-sac near you, right? I mean, they're pro IRS. They lifted up their skirt. They lifted up their skirt, and there's 73 genders under there. They love USAID. So, I mean, they're kind of all the stinky patchouli white hippie wacko boomers are out there burning Tesla dealerships. So, I mean, they should believe. You should believe them when they tell you who they are. So, what part don't you agree with?
Just because someone is supporting ending violence in Palestine doesn't mean they're pro Hamas. That is not a correct statement. There are plenty of people out there who don't want to see terrorism and they don't want to see genocide. Like, that's just a standard statement. It just is.
Well, I mean, it depends on how you view history. Whether I don't know whether some student wearing a yarmulke on Columbia's campus should be chased through the school.
Of course not.
So that's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the crystal knock. I'm talking about the crystal knock on these college campuses where this mythical place that's about as real as Narnia called Gaza, and this race of people.
How is it not a real place? How is Gaza not a real place? Palestine has existed for thousands of years.
It has?
Yes.
And who was there?
Semites were there.
It was called Phoenicia. Well, you're talking about the Philistines, the Palestinians, or the Phoenicians, because they all existed in that general little matchbox of land there.
Which was called?
On the Mediterranean.
Which was called?
Islam didn't exist until the 7th century.
That's right. It was endorsed by Catholic monks.
Well, Christianity did control it for a time. That's true. The Byzantine Empire controlled it. So look, under the just war doctrine by St. Thomas Aquinas and St. Augustine, and I think you could probably use the just war doctrine when you're talking about the bombing of Rotterdam, Cologne, Hamburg, Dresden, and many other firebombed German and French
where they
cities.
dropped phosphorus bombs in Dresden, right?
Well, right.
No one should be dropping phosphorus bombs.
Dresden. They did it all over the place.
Of course.
So here's the thing. I don't know whether you want to critique Islam. I could do that all day. But if you want to critique the Palestinians, the poor Palestinians, right, and all the chances that they've been given to get their act together. George W. Bush was the last delusional person. Him and Ariel Sharon gave them some of the best real estate in the world. What did they do with it? I've been there. I saw what they did with it.
But that's not history, AJ. That's not history.
It's recent history.
Recent history is that after World War I, the Jewish people were given parts of Palestine as part of a pact that was signed by the Germans.
Balfour Declaration. Yes.
Well, that was the acquisition. Then Israel was created after World War II.
Okay.
All the time previous to that, there were Palestinians living in Palestine. Yes, some of them are Muslim, but what people don't realize is the entire Middle East was Christian. 40% of Lebanon until 2 years ago was Christian.
The Assyrians are there. Look, I'm with you. I got it.
No, here's the whole point, AJ. This is a whole different conversation we can have. I'm doing a video on this in a couple of weeks. The point is, there are people like me who want violence to end. I do not like Hamas. I'm trained in counterterrorism. I'm not a fan of Islam either, but I'm also not a fan of 6-year-old kids being bombed or 100,000 tons of explosives being used on a place that barely has running water. So I am not pro Hamas. I'm not pro Israel either. I'm pro peace, in the words of Jesus Christ. And the idea that, and here's the analogy that I'll give you, AJ, and you can use this or not. And this may offend your personal politics, and that's okay, because that's what freedom of speech is.
That's right.
Hamas is a street gang, right? Like they're basically a street gang. They're not a government. They don't have a military. There's no formal military. They don't get funding from anything. They are elected. So was Joe Biden. So was Joe Biden, AJ. Joe Biden was
Well,
elected. Do you believe Joe
but
Biden was elected?
I don't want to get into the nebulous, esoteric moral equivalency.
No, I'm not. I'm going to give you a straightforward analogy, and this is where people are supporting Palestine in today's political culture. So
Mhm.
if we look at two things, like look at categories, 20,000 Hamas members. There's also 20,000 members of MS-13. MS-13 kills people. They're violent. They sell drugs, fentanyl, people overdose. Americans die. Both of these two organizations are terrible. Would you agree with that?
Sure.
Both of them. Okay. So the retribution, then, the logic being used in Gaza is that we need to kill everyone and sort them out later. We need to blow up everything and start it new to get rid of these guys. So if we're going to do that in the Middle East, then what we should do ideologically to get rid of MS-13 is drop 100,000 tons of explosives on New York City and Los Angeles. Problem solved. I think
Well,
it's the tactics being used that people are international court crimes are everywhere.
They're
But
being
you don't
blown
have
up
to
on
be
these.
pro Hamas to be pro Palestine. You don't have to be like you're not pro Hamas because you're supporting ending violence in Palestine. That's my whole point. That's a very, very specific, sticky way to do it, which it's people's point of view. Like I'm not pro Hamas.
I guess the question is, are the people that elected Hamas
Who elected Hamas?
in 2006, Hamas was voted into power
By whom?
by the population that we're very upset about getting bombed right now in Gaza. They wanted Fatah. They wanted Fatah out of there. Because we went back when Arafat was still alive, and Hamas took control of Gaza, and Fatah and the PLO were running the West Bank, right? So other people have been. I mean, Hitler was elected. National Socialist Party. I mean, different people have been elected.
He was endorsed by the Pope.
Right. Yeah.
He was also Times Man of the Year in 1938, right?
That's right. We let him host the Olympics too. Right. No, I'm with you. But I guess the question is, there is a gray area when you're talking about total war. Sherman's total war, Patton's total war, Churchill's total war, where enough opportunities have been given for everyone occupying the space that elected a terror organization to get their act together. Now, I will say this. There is a country that exists on Earth, not named Gaza, that does have a Palestinian majority in it. And no one ever mentions it. It's called Jordan.
Yeah.
They're there. Jordan's controlled by this little tiny group of Hashemites. Okay? But most of the people there are not, they're Palestinians. They're they're claiming to be.
Yeah, they're all Semites.
Just Bedouins that use this term Palestinian. But the point is, at a certain point, if I'm in like Jersey City and I'm Hamas and if I'm ripping my gutter off my house and I'm firing Kayushka and Qassam rockets into Midtown Manhattan every day, eventually Jersey City's not going to exist anymore. So we can all be Gandhi and esoteric and, play the turn the other cheek game. I don't. I do the Thomas Aquinas game. I do the St. Augustine game. And as far as I'm concerned, what's going on with Hamas and the people that elected them, okay, is not something that we should be weeping for.
So we don't. Ever. So we don't. We're a first world superpower country, right? America, no question about it. Most powerful country in the world.
Sure.
We don't have free elections, but the Palestinians have free elections that we can verify.
Well, right. But so look. You can open up. You and I could be here for days.
Sure.
We can open up all the
conversation that needs to be had.
Well, I know, but we don't have enough time for all these rabbit holes to go down. I mean, I'm looking down. I see Candace Owens down one of them. So my point is, look, this is a healthy forum for this type of debate. I rarely get to talk about this, so I appreciate it. But you and I aren't going to decide it here. Just like
no, of course.
Just like Menachem Begin couldn't just figure it out either. So we're not figuring it out here. But I respect the fact that you are consistent, that you're a person of peace, that, I mean, look, when I went into the West Bank and I went to the site, I went to Bethlehem and I went to the Church of the Nativity, here's all these Assyrians and Chaldean Arab Christians that didn't want to move into Israel when that wall went up. They stayed there because That's their home. That's their home. And they're predate, Islam by 600 years. And you go to the Church of the Nativity there in the West Bank, and it's riddled with bullets. So I'm there, and I'm like trying to like buy all the, I'm not just going to give money. I'm like buying their stuff because I'm trying to at least take place in
all
some
the wooden
commerce.
figures and all that.
Yeah, whatever, tchotchkes. But the point is,
$350 tchotchkes.
It's a sad state, and it's not just Christians in Palestine or the West, or Gaza and the West Bank. It's Christians it's the Maronites,
Lebanon,
it's
Syria.
Yeah, it's the Maronites,
the last existing. Yes,
in Egypt, sure. And I know their history, and I know they're there. And it's sad. But we're at a point where, as I guess, as if you want to talk politically, and this is usually a conversation ender, you either believe Israel is our ally or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, the conversation's probably over. It's probably over. You can go have it with someone else. But, are they our greatest ally? Are they our greatest?
It's a conversation that the world needs to have, our country needs to have, right?
Yeah.
It's too polarizing for people, though.
It's having it. This
is where like we can lead the whole conversation from Charlie Kirk to here. Charlie Kirk,
sure,
if anything, taught us to have civil discourse, to listen to both sides of the story. You're probably not going to change the other person's mind, but having people hear these conversations, to hear different points of view, I think are very warranted in this country. And that's how we get to a place where maybe we can rally up and grow the middle class again. It's fascinating. It's fascinating times we live in, AJ.
I'm with you. I mean, I just, for all the talk about, infiltration by foreign intelligence agencies, I mean,
well, that's obvious.
China and Islam are eating our lunch, and some of our friends, they're finding Jews in the attic and under the rug, and I don't know, they could find them everywhere. I mean, MI5 and MI6 spy on us.
Listen,
is England our greatest ally? The country we went to war with twice? I mean,
Ted Cruz was on Tucker Carlson admitting Israel spies on us. He admitted it. So like but here's where we
spy on each other though.
But here's where I agree. The focus shouldn't be just Israel and the Jews. The focus should be get everything out of America's way. You're right. MI6, the Five Eyes nations, they all spy on us. That's how intelligence networks work. They trade intelligence on one another. But we have all these, like these are obvious things that I would love the conservative. I'm not a Republican, but I'm a conservative. And I'd love to have conversations with anyone about how all of this new pre-crime technology is coming out from Israel, hacking technology from Israel. Why is our government paying a foreign nation to build technology for American national defense? This has nothing to do with Israel. This has to do with America. Like, we need to build our own technologies, right?
Sure. I mean,
would you agree?
And I mean, yesterday I was watching Trump talking about selling planes to Turkey, right? So yeah, we build technology and stuff and give it. Yeah, they want to buy F-35s and they want to buy this and that. I mean, it's like, okay, well, look, here's the thing.
That's portable, disconnectable technology.
I tell all conservatives this. We need to be careful whether no matter whatever good book we're waving around or whatever, morals we're carrying around, whatever tradition you come from, whatever deity you're praying to. We need to be careful, and Breitbart used to say this too, to not put on rose-colored glasses like the left does and use, one, purity tests to judge our own people, and two, to not get sucked up in our own version of utopianism where we think to ourselves, well, Israel spies on us. That's not fair. Well, we spy on them, and we spy on England and France. I mean, it's like we have to sort of accept the world as is and not trying to project some fantasy.
Sure.
Because if you're a religious guy, you understand that these are imperfect governments run by imperfect people, and there was only ever one perfect person, right?
That's correct.
And he's gone. He's gone, at least in flesh form. So, and he may return someday. But my point is, I mean, I try to okay. I mean, I wish that were true.
Yeah,
and I wish
to go back to this,
I wish the Palestinians, ran waterworks and collected their own trash and mowed their lawns and all. I wish all of that were true.
I wish
sadly, it's not.
I wish that this IDF Special Forces unit that I hear is so incredible throughout the entire world would use covert operations to eliminate the enemy without civilian casualties. That is literally violations of all kinds of international war crimes. That's all I'm saying. It's not my fight. I don't live in Israel. I don't live in Palestine. But if one technologically advanced nation with supposedly the greatest military in the Middle East, why do they need to kill the innocent people when we can fly into any sort of country in the world, take out Saddam Hussein without killing an innocent goat on the way? There's a better way. There's a better way to do things to achieve your mission. That's my whole point. Does that make
Sure.
sense?
It does make sense. It does. I mean, there's a lot of things I would have to agree with there, but I mean, nobody wants innocent lives to die, but when Rotterdam was bombed, the German bakery went up in smoke, and
Germany and England had verifiable, organized and orchestrated and well-funded militaries. They were national military.
When Sherman marched to the sea, a lot of people starved because he burned everything except Charleston, which is where his girlfriend lived. So he spared Charleston. He spared Charleston because he was getting some action in Charleston. But beyond that, total war is rough, brother. It's rough. And now, it's all being captured on our phones and so on. And some of it's fake, but a lot of it's real. And,
sure.
There's nothing wrong with your outrage there.
Yeah. Oh, good. See, this is what civil discourse does. That's why you need two rices in a room. It's going to be funny. It's going to be spicy, and it's going to lead in the end to a conversation that's useful for the whole world. This is great, man. This is great. I want to get you back on here because you're awesome, and you are not afraid to debate. You are not going to back down from your stance. Neither am I. And we both are civil guys who, at the end, love to laugh. This has been one of the funnest interviews I've ever done. And man, AJ,
that's why you get to double the rice, 2 scoops of rice. That's all you need, right?
Twice the fun.
And that's right, twice the fun. Exactly.
Make sure you all go ahead and pick up his book out there. Super entertaining, great information in it, by the way. AJ, thank you for doing this. Thank you for putting your name out there in such a dicey world where we're making fun of the term white privilege, which I still don't know what that means. Like, my grandparents were in a trailer park, so I'm not sure what my privilege was. But somehow we grew up with it, and now we are the kings of the world and don't even realize that while we're paying $35 for a hamburger. So this is the world we live in. AJ Rice, where can everybody keep in touch with you? How can they follow you? How can they keep tabs and buy your next book when it comes out?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, get copies of the book, Volume 1 and Volume 2 on Amazon. We have to help pay for that Jeff Bezos wedding still, so go there, get yourself some copies. But Publius PR is my day job. And we represent all types of conservatives. Like I said earlier, we represented Charlie for a time, Don Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., and many, many others.
Like half of the White House.
And look, if you're a conservative and you got a book or you've got an issue, got an organization, and you're looking to get out there, hit us up. Publius PR, publiuspr.com. And I'm either AJ Rice or Publius PR on social media.
Awesome, man. Awesome. AJ, thank you for coming in, dude. You are a fireball, man. I absolutely love this conversation. Are you in Philly?
No, I'm in Washington, D.C. here, subterranean homesick alien underneath the swamp. I'm underneath the swamp here. But, like all people you meet from Philadelphia, we take Philadelphia with us wherever we go, including to Tampa Bay this weekend. Go Birds.
Yeah, you guys go Birds for sure. Yeah, you guys export Philly all over the world. That's for sure. I used to be on the Big Money Show with Steve Cardasco in Philly. I used to fly out there all the time. And and I'll be in Washington D.C. for I'm a sponsor of the National Veterans Day Parade. If you're going to be around in November 9th, let's go hang out, man.
Hit me up, brother.
All right.
2 rices out on the town. Look out.
Look out.
Get some Irish whiskey and some holy water. We'll be ready to roll.
Well, AJ, thank you so much for coming on here. God bless you. God bless this country. And we'll see you next time on the Rice Report.
Thank you.